dreaming of a world I thought I'd never see. And then, one day, something happened.
What is a natural disaster? A natural disaster is any event or force of nature that has catastrophic consequences, such as the flooding in Queensland which began December 2010 and ended January this year. The natural disaster I have chosen to speak about is the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. One of the main causes of the natural disaster I have chosen is a massive earthquake which had a magnitude of 9.0. It triggered tsunami warnings all across the Pacific region and is one of the biggest earthquakes recorded in history. And to add on, the earthquake's epicenter was 70 kilometers east of the Yoshika Peninsula of Tohoku. Another main cause is the tsunami that was triggered by the earthquake that triggered extremely destructive tsunami waves of up to 40.5 meters high. The final main cause is the 3 reactors that have exploded and have leaked or are still possibly leaking radioactivity out into Japan. It is said that this radioactivity in Japan could even spread across to the Pacific region and also the United States of America. It has also been said that this is worse than the Chernobyl disaster in Russia. Now, here are some images of the 3 reactors and some live footage taken every second of the day. Here's how the natural disaster had functioned. First off, the earthquake.
An earthquake is a vibration that travels through the Earth's crust, and there's lots of different things that could cause that vibration. A volcanic eruption or a large meteor impact could do it, or any sort of big underground explosion. But by far the most common cause of earthquakes is the Earth's tectonic plates. These plates are in constant motion, and when they bump or grind into one another, it can cause vibrations. There are more than 3 million earthquakes caused on our planet every year by these moving plates. There are 3 different ways for plates to interact with each other. In a normal fault, the plates are separating. In a reverse fault, the plates are running into each other. In a slip fault, the plates slide against each other. Slip faults can cause some of the most dramatic earthquakes. The edges that are supposed to be sliding against each other can actually lock together and pressure builds. Then, in an instant, the pressure releases and huge tectonic plates can move up to 10 feet or more. When the shift occurs in the Earth's crust, the energy radiates out as seismic waves. The waves are like waves of water in a pond, but here the waves are radiating through the Earth and making the ground shake. There are 3 kinds of waves: P waves, S waves, and L waves. P waves cause the thud at the beginning of the quake, while L waves cause the most damage because they move foundations. Most earthquakes register less than 3 and aren't even felt by humans. For us to feel it, an earthquake has to register at 7 or more.
And now, the tsunami.
Throughout history, coastlines around the world have been vulnerable to huge, destructive, ocean-crossing waves, tsunamis. Even with the monitoring systems introduced in the 20th century, tsunamis often strike with little or no warning. Over the millennia, they have killed hundreds of thousands of people, from ancient Greece, pre-conquest North America, and feudal Japan to Alaska, India, and Sri Lanka in modern times. They originate from volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, large landslides, and even meteor impacts in the ocean. The energy released is comparable to picking up all the land, buildings, and people in New York City and dropping them into the sea. A tsunami is not a single wave, but instead a series of extremely long waves, spanning upwards of 200 kilometers in distance. Tsunamis can move up to 800 kilometers per hour, as fast as a passenger jet. Even after traveling thousands of kilometers, when it reaches shallow water, a tsunami can grow to 25 or 30 meters in height. A tsunami can also be deceptive. If the trough of the initial wave is first to arrive, water might retreat from shore like an unusual low tide. People who explore the newly exposed seafloor are then vulnerable as the massive crest arrives, and if the shore is flat enough, the wave keeps going inland, devastating cities and villages in mere moments. A worldwide tsunami detection system could not prevent every death from these waves. But, after such an event, and with a proper warning system, people across the seas might have several hours to react and escape with their lives.
These natural disasters do mostly occur in Japan. This is because Japan is located in an area where several continental and oceanic plates meet. This means there are frequent earthquakes. If these earthquakes occur below or close to the ocean, this may trigger a tsunami. The main effects of the disaster in Japan were the massive destruction of land caused by the tsunami. The place that took the worst hit by the tsunami was Sendai. Here are some before and after aerial photos of Sendai. It's quite horrible, isn't it? Just take a look at these images. The one on the left shows Sendai in 2009, and the one on the right shows Sendai as of now. House is literally gone, shattered, destroyed, and washed away. The land just looks totally different before the tsunami hit Sendai. Just imagining being in the position of a person during disaster is just completely horrifying. Also, 16 days after the disaster, a group of people had protested off the streets in Tokyo for anti-nuclear power. Earthquakes cannot be predicted. However, tsunamis can be predicted if the earthquake is monitored closely.
I got the wild style, always been a foul child. My guns go boom boom and your guns go pow pow. Known to have a hottie open, I keep the shotty smoking. Fucking that hat, the say your body broken. I got